We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 279. I am your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my right is, seemingly singed by electricity at some point today, is Scholar Tarek. How's it going tonight, sir?
Oh, no, man. It's 2020. I'm starting a new me, but I am still the true, undisputed scholar. This is going to be fine.
Okay, yeah.
You can't be too happy.
And to my left,
I'll tell
right.
I'll tell you why he can't be too happy. Because I'm the reigning, defending, undisputed Scholars of Wrestling heavyweight champion, and your reigning, defending, undisputed Scholars of Wrestling party champion, just 3 weeks away from taking my spot at the top of that undisputed scholar mountain.
Are you going to say your name?
Scholar Brian.
Head down. Head down.
I don't care.
That
Your
is the
hair
face of a
shit.
very scary challenger.
Your hair says different.
And all the way to my right, your left, as per the stipulation at the beginning of the year, the newly crowned Scholar Charlie.
No. Nope.
Nope.
This is more than this is now the newest member of the Scholars of Wrestling family. Please welcome. He's no longer Charlie. He is now and forever Scholar Charles. Hello, Charles. See,
Hello.
We'll see if he's learned some things in the interim.
Charlie is the name of a boy. He is now a scholar.
boy.
He is now a man. Sir Scholar Charles, welcome to the Scholars of Wrestling. You're in for a very, very special treat.
And
You can run away screaming now if you like.
I haven't heard anything of what your 2020 New Year's resolution is, but I bet 2021 is don't piss on electric fences.
Don't whiz on electric
Yes.
fences.
Who
Don't-
said anything about New Year's resolutions?
You forgot. You blacked out.
I don't need New Year's resolutions. In fact, I don't need anything.
You need a
I've
new
already
barber.
done it all. I don't
boy.
need to do anything now except try my best to put a smile here, put a smile here, make you completely lose your shit on your first episode as a scholar of wrestling. And look, I can already see the tears.
I don't know about losing
building
my
up
shit, but I'm losing my sleep.
building. I can see the tears.
I see tears.
building up. Just
That's
holding
Tarek
in.
spit from sitting this close to me.
It's okay. You get used to it. But anyway, yes, it is a brand new year. It is 2020. And of
Don't
course,
touch the champion.
I could do
what would
whatever
it
the
be?
hell I want.
What would it be without a look back at the year that was, a look back at 2019? It's our annual Scholly Awards show where we talk about the best and the worst of the year of 2019. So what do you say we dive right into it and get the discussion going?
Wait.
Waiting? Yes, waiting.
The hair has to go down. We're good now.
Let us begin.
Okay. Starting with our first category, Superstar of the Year. Wrestler of the Year, however you want to put it. Who is your Superstar of the Year?
Champion goes first.
Champion goes first. Superstar of the Year.
My superstar of the year is someone who is the most important person to their brand. Without this person, this company would not be doing as well as they are now. He's won every segment that he's in when he's going against anyone, when he's going against another company. I am talking about Le Champion, Chris Jericho. He is a meme machine, okay? And is he the best wrestler out there right now? Probably not. He has gotten up there in his age. He is starting to slow down a little bit, but he is the most valuable person in AEW right now, and it shows. And He hasn't had one bad segment since AEW started, and he's the one leading the charge. There are others that probably deserve this award, and they're probably going to come out. Right, they're probably going to come out of one of your mouths at this point. But there is nobody that can deny that without Chris Jericho, AEW would not be doing as well as it is right now.
I'm assuming it's my turn now.
See,
well, as good Jericho is absolutely deserving of that spot. And let's face it, I know for a fact that I'm not the only one who bought a bottle or two of a little bit of the bubbly. Yes, I know. But as big of a deal as he is and as good of a draw as he is, there is someone who has surpassed him immensely. This guy was by far the most interesting, the most fascinating, and most realized potential out of everyone this year. We always dreamed of that he could be what he is. Everyone speculated like he's the next this person, but it was this year when he finally realized his potential, both on screen and in a title sense. And of course, I'm talking about Bray Wyatt and The Fiend. The Fiend, in terms of character work, is the most fiercely original, just consistently entertaining and multifaceted thing on any wrestling show this year. And by giving him the Universal title, yeah, it's the right guy, right time, right gimmick, and the company got behind him. Everything worked according to plan, and now we've got one of the most fascinating characters, not just in wrestling, in my opinion, but on all of TV. This 2019 was the year of Bray Wyatt and The Fiend for me. Fool, what do you got?
I'm kind of taking one step forward with Brian's choice. If it wasn't for this person, AEW wouldn't exist at all. I'm looking at the man who put his sweat, blood, tears, and even risking his dog getting scared shitless from fireworks for AEW. I'm going with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Short and simple. It was he had a lot on his plate building up AEW. And when it comes to the wrestling wise, facing against his brother Dustin, having a great match with Chris Jericho at almost the cost of his head. And he's now looking towards a great year with Arn Anderson. But that's the future. That's 2020. I'm looking at the past. He's made a lot of risks, and it is very well paying off. So I'm going with Cody Rhodes.
Charles, who do you got?
Nod to Jericho, nod to Bray Wyatt and The Fiend, definite nod to Cody. I believe in a podcast I was in early 2019, verbal diarrhea led to him, unbeknownst to me, being on my Mount Rushmore of wrestling in recent history. So definitely Cody's there. Mine is completely out of right field at this point. And it's more so the beginning of 2019 and middle. But for somebody to have such a historic first run with the title, it would not do justice to not put him up there. Kofi Kingston. Because there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys, if you watch documentaries, that get torn apart with their first runs at world championships. Miz, Edge, you name it. But Kofi, I haven't heard one person that was upset with his title run or his title win. And I think it was the feel-good moment of the year, him winning it. The lead-up was perfect. The lead-up could have been a little overdrawn, but everything fell into place, I feel. And there was never a time where I was like, oh, Kofi is retaining again. Great. This is like Roman Reigns all over again. But no, Kofi gave us entertaining matches as champion, and he was rightfully champion. And he even said himself, like, for me to lose to Brock Lesnar like that, I don't take it as a hit. I take it as I'm just moving on to the next step in my career. So everyone was like, oh, aren't you worried about your rematch not getting... No, he's fine. He's been doing this his whole life. He's been without title more than he's been with. And I believe somebody on SmackDown noted that Kofi broke records this year with once he won the tag championship with overall days as champion. He overall days is like any type of champion. He's like up at the top right now.
I know that in the decade of the 2010s that him and The Miz tied for the most. They had 14 separate title reigns.
Yeah, but this was different than numbers of reigns. This was like
numbers of days.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely feel Kofi is up there with along with all your guys' takes, and I'm definitely going to get back to the Fiend on many of these occasions later on during this show.
I was going to say this category alone is already.
He will not be sold short, I promise. And Jericho probably wouldn't either if it wasn't a headache to just focus on WWE.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that now that this one category has been revealed itself, I've got a feeling that we're going to see a lot of these same characters and personalities just in different places on our list.
Yeah.
So that moving on to underused superstar of the year. This was, I predict, going to be one of my more unpredictable slots to fill. Giggity.
Well, go ahead. Are we doing it the way that we do predictions, or are we just...
Are we moving down the line?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we're doing down the line. Yeah.
All right.
Might as well.
Well, in that respect, I had to think a little bit about this one since depending on where you are on the card and what my first instinct was to go with the patron saint of our show, Aaron Stevens, a.k.a. Shooter Stevens, but then he was featured in a prominent role on NWA television and then later became the NWA national champion, which, can't go wrong there. That's not bad at all. So I decided to look at this from a somewhat different perspective. And I realized there was one person who I really wanted to see more of this year, but is just, I really like. I think he's got a lot of talent, but is used in a very, very minimal capacity. And I'm going to go with Mansoor. Everything I see of his online presence, I like.
I didn't even think of Mansoor. That's a good one.
And you know what? Every time, a lot of people don't. But he's very funny, very engaging, very thoughtful. He can wrestle a good match, but really the most we see of him ever is just his one or maybe two matches a year during the Saudi Arabia shows. He's like the Undertaker of Saudi Arabia.
He might have. He's undefeated.
Yeah. He
Give it time.
I want to see him fleshed out more as a character instead of just... I want him to become more than just fan service. I want to see him become an actual on-air personality in his own right and not just a bone you throw to the Saudi Arabia fans every single time they have just because every single time they have a big-time... Yeah. I know this guy can do more. I know this guy can do more. And just feature him as more of a character on the show. That's all you need to do. Anyway, Fool, what do you got?
Do you guys? Do you really need to ask me this?
I've known since he asked
before you entered the door tonight.
Cesaro.
Of course, it's Cesaro. The man should be in a better position than he's been in for the past few years. Until he gets a breakout moment, my underused superstar will always be Cesaro. Every time he's in a singles match, he's put on great shit. And what does he get? And what does he get in reward? Nothing. Or being a lackey to someone else. Now he's a lackey to Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura. He's the third wheel of that act, and I feel like he should be, if anything, held to the same level as Shinsuke Nakamura. Instead, he is basically J&J security for Shinsuke and Sami Zayn.
Gonna go that far?
Yes, I'm gonna go that far.
You like who you like.
My penis thinks of Cesaro really highly, and the fact that he's being so mistreated is just a complete goddamn shame. And as I've been posting, every time Cesaro does something amazing and then the next night he looks like a bitch, I just do here's my one hashtag fuck you Vince. Yeah, actually, you know what, it makes me so angry I'm gonna say it again. Fuck you Vince.
Charlie, who you got?
Nobody took a jog with this man. Nobody took a stroll with this man. Nobody took a walk with this man. Elias.
You know what?
It is a dirty, 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 dirty shame. And if anybody says that, well, he got the 24-hour championship, shut up.
Is that title retired, or did they bring it back?
Stupid.
Mojo Rawley won
Elias.
it on the New Year's Eve.
All the talent in the world, he is D'Lo Brown status underutilized at this point.
If it wasn't for his injury, I'd say you're right on. But then again, I also, now that he's recovering and he's more on the TV more, and he's a face, I think you're going to see a lot more of him used much, much wiser in 2020.
He's starting to reach that Santino level of comedy act and that scares me. Because once Vince starts laughing at your piss and fart jokes, that's all you're going to become.
Just ask Dean Ambrose.
I still have hope as far as Elias is concerned.
Well, everyone's already made clear of my views on Elias, and you saying he's going Santino level comedy.
There's no that's a point of no return in Vince's book.
In my personal view,
fucking gesture.
My personal view, I think that's where he needs to be. I'm sorry. I like the character of Elias. I just don't think he's as great in the ring as you think he is. I think he does. He fits right in as a Santino level character.
I don't think
Sorry,
that character.
not sorry.
I don't think that character works as a face. I think that character only works as a heel.
Yeah.
So the fact that they turned him face, I don't have hope going forward.
That one heel heat that he got
Exactly.
with Kevin Owens. That's his highest. That's the highest he's gonna go.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to every year I write down Cesaro on the paper, but I never say Cesaro because I already know it's got to be taken. But I'm going to go off that vein and mention somebody that you mentioned in that Holy Triumvirate, and that's Sami Zayn. Because he is the manager, and he gets a lot of TV time, and that's all well and good. But this is a man who's not allowed to pin anybody ever when he wrestles, whenever he rarely wrestles. And the fact that he hasn't wrestled since, what was it, May, June?
Except for that early summer, yeah.
Except for that 6-man tag that happened on Friday. But it's like, this is a man that, like Cesaro, shouldn't be a lackey to anybody, and should be getting like intercontinental title shots and all that. So if you're gonna go Cesaro, I'm gonna go Sami Zayn.
Might as well do that whole going after that team, because even honestly, I think even Shinsuke is getting the short end here.
Relatively speaking, but then again, he also is the Intercontinental Champion right now. And if there's one thing that... Yeah, and you know what? There's one thing that Shinsuke is known for, it's elevating mid-card titles.
Is he really, though, elevating it?
His U.S. title run was a little stale.
But not his Intercontinental title one.
But when was the last time he defended it?
Probably
it was enough for me to not pick him for this spot. Let's put it that way.
We know he's gonna drop it to Braun.
Yeah. And you know what? Braun is a worthy challenger. So I feel like he's doing his job well.
Well, you really think they're actually gonna have a real I feel like this is gonna be Brock Lesnar.
Braun murder.
Braun is not Brock. They made that abundantly clear on the show several times. Either way, that's just my opinion.
Oh, trust me, I love Shinsuke. Not as much as you do, but I do love Shinsuke. But When it will come to that Intercontinental title match, Braun is going to go Braun. All over them.
But then again, leading into our next category, Breakout Star of the Year. How's this going to go down, fool?
I just think, you know what? No real introduction, no explanation. It's just his name alone will say enough. Keith Lee.
Whoop, whoop.
I got nothing else.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah. That's all you need, really. And now that he's gotten Vince's attention, yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Charlie, who do you got?
This is where technicality comes into play. The Fiend. I think that...
okay, I see where you're going.
I think that if Bray went the route of reinventing himself as Bray Wyatt, then it would be different than what he did in bringing in a new character. There's a lot of risk to what he did. Like, say the Fiend came out to, like... If people looked at it as, like, a 1995-ish, 96-ish, like slap a mask on him type gimmick. Like Mick Foley was lucky with debuting around that time wearing a mask. He was probably one of the only people that could pull that off successfully. And
Kane.
I feel that there was a lot of Kane came in as nobody was like, wait, he wasn't. Never mind, he wasn't. Fake.
He was a dentist.
Yeah, nobody was like, wait, that guy's the dentist, or wait, that guy's fake Diesel. They were like. They brought him in properly.
To be fair, some people probably did think.
Probably people like our age back then. Yeah,
probably thought fake Diesel.
Yeah, but I think there was a lot of risk to what Bray Wyatt did, and hell of a lot of creativity, and I just feel that this is deserving of breakout star because I feel that it's a completely different monster, no pun intended, than Bray Wyatt was. So, yeah, I chose the Fiend as the breakout star of the year.
Interesting. Brian, who you got?
I'm going to go with another NXT character, and it's a female, and I'm going to go with Rhea Ripley. Because just based on her last 2 months alone.
Yes.
That's all I need. But you also have the fact that she was in the Rumble. She was NXT UK Women's Champion.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And if they do this right, if they build her up right, she could be bigger than Becky Lynch ever was.
With her rookie year alone, yeah.
So having that kind of moxie and those kind of credentials in the first year that I've known of her, alone.
You knew of her in the Mae Young tournament, didn't you?
First full year.
Yeah.
First full year that I knew of her alone and could actually watch every week. Her progress, like she has breakout star written all over.
So this would technically be her deemed rookie year, right? Okay.
Yes. So there's if they do this right, she could be like the biggest star since the Trish Stratus Lita era.
Definitely.
So
and most people of her age would be crapping their pants.
She's only 23?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All she's earning, not being given, because she's definitely earning everything she does.
That to me is breakout star of the year, because as much as Keith Lee is on my radar for that, he's also
Survivor Series alone.
He's also up there. So when he does get bought up, he's not going to be there for long. So Rhea Ripley has at least 20 to 25 years in the future for her if everything goes well. And the fact that in her first year alone, she's done what she's done, that's breakout star easy for me.
I actually had a lot of trouble with this one because there's a number of ways I could see how this would go. Now, the way I put this. Excuse me. What's with the spoilers?
No. I was saying if I included AEW in this, it would be MJF. But there's no way I could get outside of WWE.
Now you see that I didn't even have to say his name. because he's better than you, and you know it.
Yes.
I am going with MJF because I looked at one metric above all others, and that is who really had a year where they were exposed to the general wrestling public more than anybody else. Who was new? Who was relatively new in the eyes of the mainstream fans, and who made the most impact? I thought of names like Keith Lee, but then again, people in the general populace seem to have known Keith Lee. He already came in with a whole lot of hype, and when he was brought out to that main stage, he delivered, absolutely. But I looked at two names. I looked at names who really didn't have a lot of mainstream exposure yet. But this year was like when they started to have a whole lot more exposure than any other time in their history. And two names came to mind above all others: MJF and Darby Allin.
Oh,
I was about to go with Darby Allin, but then I thought about how much MJF has made an impact on the populace as a whole. From a character standpoint, he is the best heel I have seen in, I'm going to say decades. I'm just going to say it. He is masterful. He is, I don't even care about how he wrestles. He is just absolutely balls out spectacular. He's the kind of personality
Verbatim.
He's the kind of personality where if I find out he is on a TV screen or on a YouTube channel or on a segment, I will immediately turn my head, turn up the volume, and he's got my full attention. Whatever he's saying, whoever he's saying it to, he's got my full attention. And that is a very hard thing to do to get legitimate heat and to be that on all the time. Like we were talking about. When you get on that main stage and you get the spotlight on you, yeah, it's very easy to crumble or to trip over your words. He acts like he's been doing this for twice as long as he's been alive. And as long as he stays healthy, you've got the heel of the year all years in MJF. Because like you said, he's better than us, and we all know it now. Now I will get off my soapbox, and we will move on to tag team of the year. Where do we leave off? You.
The new guy.
The new guy. The new guy. All right. Who do you got?
War Viking Raider Nation Experience.
Esquire.
Domination Esquire. War Raiders.
The Viking War Raider experience.
Viking War Raiding Experience.
That's
Nation.
what we call them. The Viking War. Well, at least that's what I call
Viking
them.
War Raider
The
Experience.
Viking War
Nation,
Raider Experience.
Domination. Vikings.
How about actually stick to names that they actually had
Viking
instead of
Raiders.
adding Nation of Domination in there?
Viking Nation.
because
that's like
lulz.
the Vikings fan base.
I'm going with a team that's name has never changed since they came into the WWE. I'm going with the Undisputed Era. It's come on. It's the easiest thing in the world to me to say the Undisputed Era. They were easily the best tag team this year. I didn't, as soon as I saw Tag Team of the Year on the docket, I didn't, that was the one that I didn't even think about. I was just like, yep, Undisputed Era, moving on.
I'll tell you what. I came very close to picking the Viking War Raider Experience of Domination, Nation, whatever. I came very close, but I decided to go with the meta pick and go with the Young Bucks. Just because of what they've done for the business this year, ending from AEW this January being announced and beyond. I had no choice but to go with the Young Bucks for their contributions as a whole to the modern scene of professional wrestling. Fool, who do you got?
Funny enough, this was the one category where I couldn't pick a name. The tag teams really haven't really done anything for me. Like, I feel some have had good matches, but it's just also just looking at just where they're going storyline, some just barely did anything. And
You're losing your voice.
I just have a phlegm on the back of my throat. But
Yay, phlegm.
yeah, yeah, right, yay.
Give us a thumbs up if you like phlegm, kids. That's for the YouTube audience.
But right now I have to just think off the top of my head because, like I said, I have my list down on my phone, and that's the only one that's actually blank. Because yeah, seriously, no tag team has actually reached that for me, and I don't want to repeat what any of you guys said. So if I was gonna pick a tag team, I'll pick the Lucha Brothers.
I will not argue with that just because I'm a huge fan of Pentagon Jr.
I'm a huge fan of Phoenix. I think Phoenix
is going to be the breakout star.
I
of
think
that team.
Phoenix might be the most athletic wrestler I've ever seen. So that I think out of both of them, it'll be Phoenix. That's the one
I've
who
seen
gets
Phoenix.
the.
I'm just surprised.
I think Phoenix will be the one that gets the breakout singles run if they ever do. I doubt that they'll ever break them up.
Yeah,
But if they do, it'll be Phoenix getting the big run.
I like Pentagon because he reminds me of a next generation La Parka put into a Mortal Kombat game.
Wow.
Don't tell me you don't see him.
No.
Zero Mioto. Kick
Yeah.
you off your face.
Yeah.
Fatality. Boom.
I didn't, but now that you put it in my head.
yeah, that's actually the second now. I'm like, yeah, I didn't think about that at first, but now
It's awesome, and you know
When
it.
I watched Lucha Underground, he was just who I gravitated towards the whole time.
Oh yeah, that one
Breaking
match
people's
with
arms after every match.
and that match he had with Vampiro at the end of like season 1
Yes.
or whatever. That was baller.
Yes, to make a washed up sack something in a few.
Amazing. Great
Amazing.
talent. But either way, I am not going to argue with you with the Lucha Bros. That being said, now we're moving on to Feud of the Year. So now we've got...
gone back to the champ.
Going back to the champ. Who do you got?
See, mine was nice, simple. It lasted most of the year. And it was a series of 3 matches. NXT, Gargano Cole. I don't think I have to explain myself on this one.
No,
You do not.
definitely not.
I cannot argue with that. However, I'm going to, again, not argue, but instead show off a different point of view, a different perspective. And I'm going to be that guy and introduce the meta pick of WWE versus AEW. This was a legit modern war that really did shape the landscape of modern professional wrestling as it is. It created this boom. It was a catalyst for all these different changes, both internally and on our TV screens. And whether intentionally or unintentionally, or maybe it's just correlation, not causation, but we had an upsurge in so many other different shows, in particular NWA Power. I do not believe the timing of this show, nor of the attention that it got, was a coincidence in the slightest. We are in the middle of a wrestling boom right now, and I'm convinced that we have that majority in part to the new feud between AEW and WWE. Fool, what do you got?
All right.
Please take your time.
Just kind of taking back on yours. All right. But I really can't argue, and I also have to go with Gargano and Cole for everything. For honestly, it's just the NXT Takeover New York match alone. That was a very special match for me, and that just solidified the feud for me, just for feud of the year. So yeah, Gargano and Cole.
And the fact that it was just simple.
Mm-hmm.
Who is better?
I will say this. My second pick on this one, because I was looking at it your point of view too. the simplicity of it. My second one was going to be Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy. Just from these last couple months alone, and just the matches they've had from this past Monday and from
Their second
TLC.
match was in 2020.
If you want
Oh, no. Technically, no. Never mind. New Year's was Tuesday. Never mind.
You're still new to this.
Just made it.
You're still new to this.
Just made
So,
it.
yeah.
That was your second, so that doesn't count.
But yeah, it's my second one. But again, it's to the simplicity of it, and Gargano and Cole just, they deserve that golden bell.
Charlie, who do you got?
These are two men that would never be in a best of anything for me unless it was back a few years against
These
Cena.
are two men. Yes.
And I picked Rollins and Lesnar because for anyone to make me look forward to Lesnar matches, they're doing something right in their feuds. And I just think that, and fun fact, WrestleMania, their match, I don't know if you guys watched the 24 Seth Rollins, but Seth thought that he was playing out WrestleMania up till a half an hour before the show when he was told he was going on first.
Womp womp.
So to be able to put on that performance in a half hour's time is pretty damn impressive.
Well, I mean, he didn't need to do much. It was a 3-minute long match.
Yeah,
So
but
that's
still,
it.
just to be told that, oh, no, don't worry, you have 5.5, 6 hours till your match. Nope, you got 30 minutes. Get out there. Start off the biggest show of the year.
To be honest, if it was a choice between that and the triple threat women's match, I probably would have picked Seth
Yeah.
and Lesnar. And this is coming from the guy who was actually at Mania. So, yeah.
This is true. But I picked Seth and Lesnar.
All right. Next up, now let's get sassy and angry. Worst feud of the year.
Oh God.
I
Worst-
think this is
I think we're gonna be across the board on this one. At least I hope.
Do we want to try and say it all at once, or do we want to go
I'm
down
not.
the road?
I'm not gonna lie. I think he's gonna be the different one.
Really?
Really?
I don't know. I just have a feeling. I have a feeling.
That tonight's going to be a good night? No? All right.
And you said you were gonna make me cry.
Rusev Lashley.
Rusev Lashley.
Yeah. Okay. I was
You
proven
gotta
wrong.
say Lana too.
I was proven
Rusev
wrong.
Lashley Lana.
Yeah.
Rusev Lashley.
With the
Rusev
late edition
Lashley.
of
This feud
with
sucks.
the late
This
edition
feud sucks.
of Liv.
A new chapter is
Please
being
sing
added.
us more, sir. Please sing us more, sir.
No,
But here's-
I won't.
here's the thing.
No, I won't.
Here's the
I
thing,
will
though.
not.
Okay, it's not gonna end. You want to know
No,
why?
because Vince
because
is loving every
no.
minute of it.
and people are watching it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That got a huge bump.
There was
in
a
SmackDown.
40% spike.
It is.
It
As
is
Lana is boasting about all week, there was a 40% viewership spike when they went on for their wedding.
It is getting
proven.
You
people's
drink
attention.
that drink of shame, sir.
It is an absolute shock.
40% rating spike.
From the
so
And
we
highest
can.
segment of 2019.
So here is the thing. Okay, we can call it worst feud of the year.
We're not bringing in those
all we
views.
want. Okay, and it's bad. It's bad across the board. But it's
By the way-
but it's train wreck bad that
By the
nobody
way,
can look away from.
Are we all?
Apparently, people want to tune in.
Are we
from
all
whatever they're
declaring
watching
this?
Prior.
Are we all declaring this worst feud of the year? To
Yes.
someone?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
it's
I was proven wrong.
it's worst.
really was.
It's worst feud of the year, and it will never end because as WWE has always proven, okay, nobody can turn away from a train wreck, and that's it.
Well, I need a palate cleanser. Let's move on to match of the year. Fool, you're up first. Who
am
was
I?
your match of the year?
Okay. My match, I actually...
Please give me something good.
Oh yay! I get to start off worst match.
Aren't you special?
Okay, match. Okay, so yeah, this is kind of a cheat for me because, like, it's just like I said with yours. I was at the event when this match happened, and it's going to be the WWE Championship between Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania.
That's a good one.
It may have been a cheat for being there, but yeah, it was being there made that match even more special, especially when Kofi won it. And that was the match that actually broke broke my voice, and I completely lost it.
For good reason.
And it also brought a tear to my eye because I know that's the last we're going to see of the hemp championship.
Not for the reason that it brought a tear to everybody else's eyes, but
Oh
my God.
I'm sorry. I love that belt.
I know.
I thought it was
I
awesome.
know. If you had the chance, you'd smoke it.
Yeah,
Speaking of smoking it, who do you got?
Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano in the 2 out of 3 falls match. Because I just firmly remember watching that match and actually jumping out of my seat and waiting to see any movement out of Adam Cole or Johnny Gargano after that top spot in the end of that match. And that was the only match that really got that type of reaction out of me this year.
I'm going to go with a match that Tarek has already mentioned in our Feud of the Year topic. I'm going to go with Gargano Cole, NXT New York.
Yeah.
And I don't need to explain myself on that one. That is expert level.
I went back and forth on a couple different choices here. For a while, I was leaning towards the Women's Royal Rumble just because of how it ended and how it all came together.
Because of how you swept
No,
the results.
no, I actually didn't think of that. But you know what? I'm gonna switch it over to Brian Kofi. That, along with the excitement of the Women's Royal Rumble, those were like two of the big moments that just made me want to go. Just like fist pump, boom,
Boom.
The Royal.
I did that, but my arm was off camera.
The roller coaster ride of excitement for me just solidified. There were a lot of really great matches, but the ride was just good. It was just too much fun and too much good. I'm going to switch mine to Brian Kofi. That being said,
Worst match of the year.
worst match of the year.
Let's talk about some more shit.
For real. A heaping pile, to be exact.
What's your heaping pile?
I'll save that for later. But for this match, it was definitely Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez. And there's crossover athletes, and then there's Cain Velasquez. And
Hey, he's coming back.
oh boy, hooray!
Just remember that.
I know, and they'll probably skyrocket him again. But
Oh, please don't.
yeah, it was just horrible. And yeah, I'm not going to spoil anyone else's, but I'll chime in if they say that as theirs.
I guarantee you one of us will.
Hey, it's gonna be me because
What you said earlier?
I'm
What
going.
you said earlier,
yes.
guessing mine? Okay.
I'm going with Undertaker Goldberg at Super Showdown.
I chime in?
Basically, okay. Basically, because by the end of the match, I was just hoping that nobody was gonna die, everyone was gonna survive that match, because I understand that the match was okay up until a point.
Yeah.
Okay, and I understand why it went off the rails. But, okay, if you know that someone has gotten hurt, it's your main event. Stop the damn match. Okay?
But yours had reason behind why it sucked. It went off the rails, and they should have stopped it. Mine was just a dumpster fire.
And that's and I do not begrudge you your pick.
Yeah.
But at no point during that match did I think anyone was gonna die.
True.
That's it.
True.
Yes, I'm going to second that. Just because, not only because it was a train wreck, but it just seemed like it was completely soulless and done strictly out of blood money.
Of course.
And it was just,
Welcome to Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
Everything's done out of blood money.
Yeah, but at least sometimes you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
This was just like, this was a freak show. I mean, if you've got athletes who are applying their trade in the prime of their lives who can actually do these things and safely, like, I don't care who you are. If you're a singer, if you're a good singer, then by all means sing to your best capacity and get that payday. If you're a dancer, if you're a businessman, do what you do it safely, and make your money fairly. Neither of these guys needed to be here. It was paid. The only reason it happened was that it was paid for, not because it made any logical sense, not because both men were in the prime of their lives and could put on an absolute stellar match. This was essentially a freak show, and a very cynical one at that. So it just left a very bad taste in my mouth, and I gotta say it is worst match of the year.
For me, that's gonna be later. But for right now, when it comes to worst match of the year, I'm gonna go Hell in a Cell 2019 with Seth Rollins versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt, because when it came to that match, there was only one outcome that needed to happen. Every other outcome would have been a complete screw-up. And the worst part about it is the outcome that did happen was actually not on that list of screw-up moments. They actually took it one step further and continued this bad luck of the second pay-per-view in a row, or the second Hell in a Cell in a row, where they ended a Hell in a Cell match by disqualification or just calling off the match. They went in there with a sour taste in their mouth, and they decided to add to that sour taste with pure shit. Pure dog shit.
It almost killed.
And that's what I was saying. It almost put a complete halt on the momentum that Bray Wyatt had. It hurt him a lot. But the thing is, with Bray Wyatt, he was able to come back from that. He actually fixed that screw up. Yeah. But it's still the fact that he had to deal with that screw up in the first place.
And the other person had to completely change his character in order to come back from that match. So
to be fair, it's actually working for him too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that it shouldn't. I wouldn't put that as my worst match. I would put it as my most disappointing match, and for the reasons you said, and for the fact that first of all, I don't believe the curb stomp can do anything now. Even though Kevin Owens sells it like death, I don't believe that the curb stomp can do anything. and just it murdered any chance Seth Rollins had of being able to do anything with that character that he had. He did a good job of it himself, but that just nailed it in the coffin. And you almost killed your most interesting character in decades doing that shit. So, yeah.
So let's clear out the palette, so to speak, with another bit of good. Let's talk about pay-per-view of the year. Scott Ryan, back to you.
I'm going to go AEW Double or Nothing. Because it was the first pay-per-view, I believe. Was it the first pay-per-view that actually had the AEW?
Yes, it was.
Name on it? Yeah. It was the first pay-per-view that had the AEW name on it. It had the most emotional match of the year. It came in second on my match of the year candidate with that was more emotional to me than Daniel Bryan, quite honestly, with Cody versus Dustin, especially with what happened at the end. And you had the first shot across the bow to WWE with the debut of Jon Moxley. I'm like that show, and you had the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers doing their thing. Like, for me, there was nothing wrong with that show. Like it hit all areas that I wanted it to hit, and that was the only pay-per-view that did that for me this year. So, without a doubt, it's AEW Double or Nothing.
I am absolutely going to have to agree. I was actually looking at WWE exclusively for this, and I did have to struggle a little bit. But after looking back, I didn't even have to remember every single match or every single result. All you had to say was AEW Double or Nothing. And sold for all the reasons that you said and more. AEW Double or Nothing.
For me, Double or Nothing was actually second place for me. The one that actually took it was a pay-per-view that we brought up plenty of times on this show, TakeOver New York. For me, that was a perfect show for me. I just remember at some point in Double or Nothing where I don't remember the exact moment. I just remember at some point I actually got a little bored until Cody and Dustin, and that match actually brought it back for me. But for me, TakeOver New York didn't do any of that. I was never bored. I was on the edge of my seat. The Fatal 4-Way for the women's for the NXT Women's title. Let's see. Pete Dunne versus. He faced Walter, correct?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I believe so,
Yeah, for the UK title.
Volta.
That match.
Walter, the ear boy.
These are really big. Nice.
I can't hear Walter's name without thinking that.
Okay. Yeah.
Image ruined. Moving on.
Great. Now you did ruin it for me. But yes, you put me at a complete halt. But yeah, it was for me. It's NXT TakeOver New York. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ass.
Nah.
I said the line.
It's super. Yeah. It's super cliche, but I feel like it does justice. We've been in a couple of years of drought of being able to say this, but WrestleMania. I feel like there's been maybe 4 or 5, might be pushing it, years where WrestleMania was. Well, you tried. But
Sweetie, you can stop now.
Well, that's what happens when you have Roman Reigns main event every
exactly
those past 5 years.
So yeah, just plain and simple WrestleMania. I feel like it did its job for
brilliant.
once, and not just a participation trophy.
I will give it that. It was about as well paced as a WrestleMania match can get these days, or event.
Hilariously enough,
Pay $70 for one match. WWE presents WrestleMania.
Hilariously
We're not
enough,
boxing.
the Roman Reigns match was actually the worst match on that card.
Yeah,
against Drew.
Yes, this is true.
The man who main evented the last 5,
and the man that will be main eventing many to come, I'm sure.
Hell, he's
One
gonna
can only hope.
main event
Cards
this
are
one.
played right.
Well, anyway, now it's my distinct honor and privilege to open up the discussion for worst pay-per-view of the year.
Erotic.
Now, I know what a lot of people are going to say. I know that at least one of you is going to go with something like Crown Jewel.
No.
I'm convinced that we're going to talk about one of the Saudi Arabia shows. But let me just ask you, quick, what happened to WWE Stomping Grounds?
That's what I chose, and that's what brought me to you.
Yeah. At least that's why I'm going with WWE Stomping Grounds. There's bad shows that are bad because of a spectacle. This one was just bad, forgettable, bad. And that's why I'm going with Stomping Grounds.
What did happen at Stomping Grounds?
I won the
Exactly.
title.
And then
When we remember what happened amongst you guys rather than what happened on the actual worldwide pay-per-view, it says your pay-per-view sucks.
I rest my case. Fool, the floor is yours.
I didn't go for a pay-per-view that I honestly have no memory of right now. Seriously, I have absolutely nothing. I'm just going with the event that actually
I rest
left
my case.
Roman Reigns stomped on stuff.
No, that was the poster deal.
Oh, right. It's the only visual I have left in my mind from the event.
Hey.
What was his match on that?
I don't know.
And
I don't even
nobody
know what
cares.
month it was.
I went with an event that left me angry than anything, and that was Hell in a Cell.
Oh.
Like I just,
But wasn't the rest of Hell in a Cell good?
Yes, it was.
I didn't.
It was
Not
that
for
one
me.
match was that bad that it soured the rest of the
Yeah.
card. But objectively, the rest
I
of the
just
card
remember.
wasn't bad.
I just remember not. For me, it was just another show, and I guess it was just me looking forward to Bray winning the belt. At least
Yeah.
that's what I was hoping for, and that was one thing that was the introduction of the red lights,
Yeah, not
And-
great.
and that it just reached that point where, like, at first I wasn't into the event. I was just basically like, okay, this event is just another generic pay-per-view. Okay, it's all building up to Bray winning. That's all that matters. And then it didn't happen. And
The
then
swerve from hell.
yeah, that's a good way of putting it. The swerve from hell.
In a cell.
Shut up.
Make me.
So in the end, I just remember closing the show, and that was the event that actually made me cancel my WWE Network subscription, at which I still don't have. Nothing really brought me back to wanting to resubscribe to WWE Network because of that event. Because I'm like, you know what? I was Peter Griffin when he made it halfway through Failure to Launch. Done. And I walked
And
out.
that's commitment to leaving, because like you see on the internet all the time, oh well, I'm gonna cancel my subscription, and then you see those people reviewing the next pay per view.
We've had
But-
two people who have actually done it. So, because you did it after the, what was it, 2015? The
Yeah.
second time Daniel Bryan got fucked?
No, it was after the rise of Roman Reigns. The
You remember his rant?
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Oh yeah, it's still on our channel.
Yeah.
You just look at the picture of Jeff versus Roman Reigns, and
I would probably adjust my rant these days, but a lot of my points still remain the same.
Yes.
Anyway, whose turn is it to give us their?
I already said what I picked, so
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to go stomping grounds because that became the rise of Scholar Brian by shutting down said Scholar Charlie in the middle of the show. But
I had that title for a good 2 matches, and you know it.
and then
you tried.
I'm not
We're
going to
the
go
participation trophy, David.
I'm not going to go with Hell in a Cell even though I could, because basically
He's
the
going with
build
Crown
up
Jewel.
build up was so bad for Hell in a Cell that even though the matches were good, I couldn't get into it because we didn't know 3/4 of the card before 5 o'clock. Before 5 o'clock that day, remember? Like we tied basically that
Oh,
that day
yes,
because
that's
we
right.
we had no clue what
Was
the
that
matches
when they
were.
announced those random matches like Shinsuke and
Yeah.
somebody? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with the stock standard. We had 2 of those matches. We had 2 worst match of the year candidates on this show,
Crown Jewel.
and no, I'm going Super Showdown.
Ah,
It's
other
that's
Saudi show.
the other Saudi show. Yeah.
you had Kane versus Brock.
Oh, here I thought they had 2 Crown Jewels this year.
You had Kane versus Brock, and you had it's just woof. Do I need to say any more?
That's all. That's all.
Woof.
One word.
Woof, woof, woof. That's it.
Oh yeah. Now let's do another good one. This is Women's Wrestler of the Year. Who I totally lost count.
I
Where are we?
believe Tarek.
It's
All right.
on me.
Women's Wrestler of the Year. Who do you got?
I'm gonna go with Shayna Baszler. I don't think I can't think of a bad match, really, that she had this past year. At least, yeah, that comes off the top of my mind, and I just see a lot of potential now that for me, she's up there for possibility of winning the Women's Royal Rumble this year. she's left that much of an impact on me this past year, and I think it's gone. Someone's noticed, and just right. I'm gonna just say right now, since if Ronda Rousey does not come back from her hiatus, I think the women's championship match is gonna be at WrestleMania is gonna be Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler. Because just from that one planted seed alone for their build of Survivor Series, I'm just looking at this. I'm like, you know what? I'm into this. It was actually that moment that really got me into with Shayna Baszler as a wrestler and a character. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, you know, she's good. I like her. She's really good. Huh? That backstage interview with Becky, that backstage sit down. I'm like, you know what? I'm sold. I'm looking forward to this match more than I have ever been with Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey last year.
Interesting. Charlie, who do you got?
Sasha Banks. For Sasha Banks reasons.
For Sasha Banks reasons.
Yes. I feel that since her return, she's been super solid.
Because she could actually be herself.
Yeah.
On screen.
Yeah.
She didn't have to pretend to be a milquetoast babyface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the blue hair makes her tolerable.
Nothing makes her tolerable for me.
I am going to go.
I beg to differ with that.
I'm gonna go completely off the reservation here. Once when AEW got
I'm intrigued.
when it came out, I began to watch a lot more of the indies and the other wrestling companies and all that. And to me, nobody has had a better year than Tessa Blanchard.
Okay.
Okay.
Definitely.
She's been a champion in at least 4 or 5 promotions. Okay. She's going for the Impact heavyweight title against Sami Callihan.
Which she's had an amazing program
So it's like, I'm not going to go Rhea Ripley because she already got my award and I don't hand out doubles. Okay. I
Damn, Brian.
He doesn't do sloppy seconds.
You are a heel.
Yeah. And I can't go Becky Lynch because she had a horrible summer. It was bad. So just based off of everything that I've seen, that Tessa Blanchard has had a better year than possibly everyone other than Shayna Baszler. So I'm down with Shayna Baszler. But if we're going outside the box here, nobody has had a better year to me than Tessa Blanchard. And I'm looking forward to the day that she steps into either WWE or AEW.
I see her as an AEW gal.
I do too, actually. Yeah, I don't see her going in Vince.
Lacey Evans
No!
is not my pick.
Okay.
She had a pretty decent rookie year, but she is not my pick. I just wanted to get that reaction.
Thank God.
My reaction, my genuine pick is gonna seem a little bit milquetoast and a little bit PWI 500 style.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I feel like I feel obligated to go Becky Lynch on this one, just because of, you know, she's pretty much held the belt for the entire most of the entire year. She won the main event at WrestleMania. I'm like, I feel like obligated to pick her.
You feel like obligated to pick her because she got you that landslide Royal Rumble win.
I genuinely forgot about that.
I didn't.
Well, I will say this, however. This was her year, but I genuinely believe that 2020 will be the year of Lacey Evans. 2019 was the year where she needed her reps, and I'm going to be even more bold here. I'm going to make a bold prediction. Lacey Evans will be SmackDown Women's Champion by WrestleMania if she doesn't win it on the actual show.
Well, now they're actually pushing her. I actually think that
Yeah.
may
That could
happen.
actually happen. Yeah.
I think Lacey Evans is ready. I think
She is everything as far as like what Vince would picture.
Yeah, I
far as
like
her
her
as a
character.
being.
She's a good face.
She's blonde.
Yeah, I'll give
She's blonde.
this
Vince
to
looks
Lacey
for,
Evans.
blondes.
They should have never brought her up as a heel. Like based on her background,
Yeah.
she's an excellent babyface. They
I
brought her up wrong, and that hurt her through 2019.
her
I
showing
think
up
they
in-
did it right. Like they can always revert back to that 1940s pinup chic thing anytime they want, please. But really, I think she's right where she needs to be. Her growth was organic. She got the reps she needed, and the sky's the limit for her. If I do not pick her for Women's Wrestler of the Year in 2020, better be a damn good reason, because Rhea Ripley just totally burns the house down, or Shayna Baszler wins the Royal Rumble and has an absolute dynamite year. But in my eyes, all eyes are going to be on Lacey Evans in 2020.
With your
Do
little
something.
with your little soapbox there, Becky really didn't make as much as an impact as even though she was your Woman Wrestler of the Year. I mean, yeah, her highlight was that Royal Rumble win, in my opinion. I don't think.
Yes.
I think
You're not wrong.
I think the flub WrestleMania win.
But just being
Actually
where
hurt.
she was on the card, again, it feels to me like a PWI 500, but I feel like where she was for the majority of this year, I feel like obligated to pick her. But if I didn't pick her, it would just be like through some sort of bizarre bias of mine.
For the first 3 months, I definitely agree with you, because I think those first 3 months, since winning the Rumble, I think that was really Becky's like true moment to shine. But from having to do that whole apology angle with the McMahons to the flub win, the accidental flub win at WrestleMania, to basically having most of her title reign be against Lacey Evans, and then thrown into that Seth Rollins storyline. I think now she's actually starting to build momentum back, wanting to have that match with Asuka, especially since there's actual history.
It's an actual story.
That's actually built since WrestleMania, since it was Asuka that beat her for the SmackDown Women's title last year. So yeah, they're at least, and she's shown true dedication that she wants to fight with that. And that I'm like, okay, now she's starting to, 2019, really, really rough year for, at least mostly from WrestleMania on, was really, really rough for Becky. Mm-hmm. Especially with it ending with that Kabuki Warriors Charlotte tag team TLC match. Now that they're actually building on a singles feud for her, now 2020 is now starting the right direction for Becky.
Now we're at our last negative award for the evening, the Need of Clear Liquid Award. The segment or happening this year that was just the absolute worst of the worst, where the only thing that helps remotely is just a swig of the clear liquid. So I believe we're on Charles. What do you got?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we were all here for this, and I think the house reaction was enough. Lesnar stealing Money in the Bank. Ali, that was within his grasp, and it was right time, right place, and everything. And I know I sound silly saying that about something that's scripted, but
hey, sometimes the script doesn't work.
I just remember us all just being upset.
Because it just
With
took a
that
shit.
finish.
It took a
Yeah.
shit on everyone who actually,
Was participating in the match.
putting their
Big
bodies
old
on the
turd.
line in that match. Hell, didn't someone take a nasty bump in that one?
I think, yeah, there was a broken
think it was-
ladder spot on the outside.
Wasn't it Ricochet?
I think so.
I do not immediately recall.
I just
I
remember
think Ricochet
someone.
was the ragdoll of that match, to be honest. I think he took a lot of spills.
Yeah, there was just so much.
Ricochet hears Lesnar's music. It's like, oh, thanks.
Oh, no.
Just take it. I didn't do anything here. His arm is like.
That was supposed to be true, man. That was supposed to be true.
Brian, who do you got?
I'm sorry.
Mine is a story that really has nothing to do with the in-ring product. But every time this happened, I had to take a sip of the clear liquid.
Uh-oh.
And I call this story Seth Rollins versus himself. That's it. Every time this man opened his mouth, whether it's Twitter, whether it's interviews, whether it's whatever he was doing, the wrong thing would come out of his mouth, and I would reach for the clear liquid. And it got so bad that they had no choice but to change this man's character completely and turn him into a better character than he's had in years.
Yeah.
With what he's doing right now. So you can say that it actually turned out well for him in the end, but with my need of the clear liquid, it was every time this man opened his mouth during the summer. That's it.
Yeah, for this one, I went back and forth on this one. And for me personally, I had to go for Kofi Kingston's loss of his WWE Championship to Brock Lesnar just because of how abrupt and insulting it was. It was just, it shouldn't have happened like that. I don't care what kind of line Kofi himself sends out. I don't care what anybody says. It was an unceremonious end to an absolutely wonderful, wonderful, not just story, but also title reign. Kofi was a great champion. His reign was great. It's one of the few that's, to me, didn't overstay its welcome. I enjoyed every match and every day of his reign. He wore it like he was destined to. And for all that just be tossed away, it just in 5 seconds, just so they can put the belt on Brock for the new debut on Fox. Again, it was another one of those very cynical moments for me. And it gave me bad vibes for where WWE was going with this new Fox deal. And it just left a very sour taste in my mouth.
I will say this. I didn't mind Kofi losing because we all kind of knew he was going to lose. If the only complaint was the fact that he did lose like that. If he actually, had a match, then
I would feel a lot different.
Then you would feel good about it.
If they did like a Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan type thing,
if they
or
basically
Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles,
that would have been great.
But instead, they did 7 seconds, and now Kofi looks like a joke after what was it, 8 months? Of greatness, and all reduced to a joke in 7 seconds. So
all right, for me, it's actually something that was talked about for your guys' worst match of the year. It is Undertaker versus Goldberg, and it's because of something you guys said. It started off as a match, and then it just became something completely scary for real-life purposes because we were afraid one of these guys may actually not walk out of this match. Yeah. See, unlike Jeff here, I actually kind of was looking forward to Goldberg and Taker because I felt like it was just going to be how Goldberg Brock Lesnar was at WrestleMania. It was just going to be nothing but like big spots, which most likely that was going like pretty much signature moves and finishers. I'm pretty sure that's what the plan of that match was because, like we said, these guys are way past their prime, and it's nothing more than something for the Crown Prince because that all he knows is 80s/90s wrestling. He doesn't know anybody today. That's all he really cares about. But when it came to that point where it stopped becoming a show and became something real, and it became something scared for two guys that I have great respect for, especially Taker, because you guys know how much of a huge Taker fan I am. I was legit scared, and the one thing that solidified it was the look of Taker's face once the match actually ended. And just the sheer look of anger and disappointment on his face. And that wasn't Undertaker. That was Mark Calloway being very, very angry. And yeah, it just
worthwhile. Take a swig of that clear liquid.
Says it all, really.
Whether you're at this table or at home,
it
take
really,
a swig of it.
I will say, it really is a relief to know that both guys were fine afterwards. But yeah, nothing more than just it was scary.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
the perfect way to explain it.
When
Scary.
my roommate wants to watch the match because he's not in the apartment at the time, and I have to walk out of the room because I know what's coming, that should tell you all you need to know about that match.
Well, anyway, now that we've got our clear liquid, let's take home the rest of the show with the You're Welcome Award, the best feel-good moment. Just made it give us the warm fuzzies inside and made us just. It's like a great moment in professional wrestling. Could be a match, could be a storyline, just the great moment of 2019. I believe, Brian, it's your pick first.
And I understand what a lot of people are going to go for here. We've already spoken about it a lot. And it was second on my list. I'm talking about Kofi and all that. But I'm going to go with the announcement at the beginning of the year about the formation of AEW and what it did over the months after that to the business as a whole. Okay, we got renewed interest in minor companies like MLW and NWA Power. We got WWE actually acting like they give a shit during specific points in the year, which for years before that they didn't, but now they had to, because now with the formation of this group, we had a little thing that we haven't had since the late 90s, and that was legitimate competition. And all of that was from this announcement. I think it was New Year's Day.
It was.
It was New Year's Day.
Yeah, and New Year's Day, we got the announcement of AEW forming. A bunch of the members of its roster came out. That was the announcement of Chris Jericho and all that. They announced a bunch of guys. And from that moment on, you knew that whatever happened in the ring and on TV, you knew that something special was going on. Whether it was, I believe that, okay, I don't believe Kofi gets that run. If something like that doesn't go down, you don't get the NXT revolution that we got at the end of the year. If that doesn't go down, you don't get the breakout years of Keith Lee and Rhea Ripley. You don't get the masterful technique of Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era on the main show if this doesn't happen in early January. Therefore, instead of a feel-good moment, I'm going for a feel-good year based off of this one announcement alone. The formation of AEW and the build-up to TV in October.
I cannot argue with you with that. However, I am still going to have to go. I'm still going to stick to my guns. I'm going to say I have to go with Kofi Kingston's title win. Not because I disagree with you necessarily, but there is one point that I actually do, and that's because of how the rest of this storyline progressed with Kofi. Because it almost seemed like it happened by accident.
Oh, it completely did.
It was by accident.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be LA.
You could make the argument that WWE and all of wrestling was more susceptible to change during this period because AEW was on the rise and there was a lot of excitement and speculation in the air at the time. But it didn't really seem like that was like AEW was so hyped and so huge of a deal that it superseded what was going on with Kofi. And what was going on with Kofi was like it was symbolic. It was faith being rewarded. There were other moments like that this year where we got the payoff that we wanted to, but with Kofi, it seemed like it was more profoundly so. It meant a lot more to a lot more people. It resonated not just with one group of wrestling fans, but it resonated with everybody. And it was executed at WrestleMania perfectly. There was genuine emotion there. The match itself was spectacular, as the rest of our picks have. There are lots of match of the year picks from all of us and from several people across the internet and beyond. Let's be real. And even if it's not your pick for match of the year, it's hard not to place it in the same tier as just one of the best moments of the year, period. And for me, I feel like this was big enough where I have to go for my personal pick for the moment of the year. And you know what? Thank you, Kofi. Now, if you were here, you would be telling me you're welcome.
It also helps that the person on the other end of that feud was the last person who organically forced themselves into a WrestleMania main event for the title. So and the feud itself was perfect because Daniel Bryan was Triple H, and Kofi Kingston was Daniel Bryan. So that feud itself also came in second for feud of the year because it's organic storytelling. It's you live long enough to become the villain. Okay, so yeah, as I said, I knew that most everyone's pick here was going to be Kofi winning. So it doesn't surprise me in the least. It came in second for me, but yeah, it's the feel good moment in the ring this year, easily. So.
Tarek, who do you got?
For me, it was a moment that just left me in awe the entire time it was on TV. For me, it was a perfect reintroduction of a character. And that was the SummerSlam re-debut of Bray Wyatt as The Fiend. The entire SummerSlam segment. It all stemmed from, first, these video packages. First of Mercy the Buzzard. We were just thinking, what the hell is that? And Abby the Witch. And some creepy dollhouses. Next thing you see is Mr. Rogers-esque promos from a completely new, rejuvenated Bray Wyatt, which in the very first episode took a cutout version of his old character and killed it with a chainsaw. That couldn't be any more of a better reintroduction of a character that for anyone. And it all stemmed with him also slowly introducing a darker side to him, which comes as the Fiend. And we get even little more sprinkles of that for him showing up at random positions and giving mandible claws to people. And then when we finally see him in his in-ring debut against Finn Balor, coming out to a darker version of his theme song, holding the head of his old character. And just the moment the lights come back on and people are just chanting, holy shit. That couldn't be any more perfect. And I remember us being there or watching live, and we were just like, okay, let's watch this. Let's see how we're going. And our response, we were in complete silence. And as soon as he left, all you're hearing is yowie wowie, yowie wowie.
Excuse me, 1 second, please. I just need to make a quick point here. Just off. Continue.
Oh.
This gimmick was so good and so popular, it made me buy puppets. I'm a grown-ass man buying puppets. I've got a buzzard here. I got a rambling rabbit. I'm a man. I'm a grown-ass man with a puppet on his hand. That was a rhyme. What the hell just happened? What's going on? What's even happening? Oh, no. Yeah, Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, Firefly Funhouse. Boom.
You can't think of any more perfect reintroduction of a wrestler. And he put so much of his time and effort.
Can I have my puppet back?
Puppets.
Yeah. No, man.
See, we're grown-ass men having fun with puppets. What's the hell's going on?
I think I'm going to stay right here. Perfectly fine.
If we're doing this segment right, Ramblin' Rabbit needs to die.
He did die.
Already
Don't
did.
need a friend, dude.
He needs to die.
Brought back to life.
He was just brought back to life.
Yes.
It's gonna turn into jam.
Behave. No biting.
And this is exactly why this is my you're welcome moment.
I cannot argue with this. Yeah, dude.
And this is exactly why this is also my you're welcome moment. The Firefly Funhouse segments leading into SummerSlam.
And the fun just never ends, does it?
Because
We're really glad that you're our friend. And
Not why I
this
said
is a friendship that'll never, ever end.
It's money.
If you're
Because-
feeling lonely today, come along and throw your cares away. Throw your cares away.
Can I say because?
Because
He let him in.
When I picked this, I was just trying to think back to like anything that made me look forward to anything in WWE this year, and the Firefly Funhouse segments, as short as they were what made me tune into Raw when it was, I guess, for the lack of better terms, lackluster. Yeah.
As a
definitely
sidebar.
deserving.
As a sidebar, did anyone happen to go on YouTube on Christmas Day?
Yes, I saw
They uploaded a Firefly Funhouse themed Yule log for 6 hours.
God damn it! You guys have my number.
I'll text you.
Why wasn't I informed? No, but speaking of YouTube segments that we probably missed out on, are you still yet to see the mockumentary of MJF?
I have still
And
not
if he
seen
really
that
is
yet.
that rich?
What did this have to do with Bray Wyatt?
No, because I was gonna say it earlier when he
YouTube
was talking about
segments.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say it
YouTube
earlier when he was talking
segments.
about MJF, but if you're still yet to see that, you need to watch it.
Yeah, that's definitely on my to-do list, but for now, I'm just going to keep enjoying the Firefly
So a
Funhouse and
Firefly
playing with
Funhouse
puppets.
Yule log. I need to.
We will watch it after the show.
Okay.
But for now, hey, that was the year that was 2019. We've given out our Scholly Awards.
We got to give one more.
We got to have one more.
We got to give one more.
Up.
We have to give one. For the first time, someone other than me won Scholar of the Year. And I am more than happy that it is Scholar Brian. Unfortunately, I don't have the score points.
And I would like
I don't need it to know that Brian took the second half of 2019 all on his own, like a big boy.
And I would like to thank
big
I
boy.
would like to thank our newest scholar, because without his mouth opening,
Gross.
okay, none of the
Tell me about it.
yeah, it could be gross all you want. All that matters is the fact that the only reason I'm here right now
I'm
is
just as
because
ashamed if it were gross.
the only reason I'm here right now, holding both of these titles and cashing in Money in the Bank, is because said scholar, SIT, could not,
Former.
former SIT, can't keep his mouth shut.
If I didn't have
And
pins and
every
needles
time-
in my left foot right now,
And every
Like
time,
what?
and every time he opened his mouth, I dominated. I dominated it in the match, in the championship prediction match, every single time. So I know that I created the hashtag.
If I saw this as my challenger, I wouldn't want to be holding those belts right now.
I did.
Look at the man's hair. It's terrifying.
So, thank you.
Pick your battles wisely.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Scholar Charles.
You're welcome.
Okay, and as much as I always say hashtag Shut Up Charlie on Twitter, it should actually be Don't Shut Up Charlie on Twitter, because the more you talk, the more I win.
I won't shut up regardless.
Shouldn't it be more hashtag Thank You Charlie?
No.
And that's what Christmas is really about.
Because if he's not shutting up, you got those belts. So it's because of him that you're the champion. With that, you should be thanking him.
The only reason I'm not is because you keep trying to get me to thank him. So
you just said thank him. Yeah, you thanked him.
He said thank him.
You're him.
I'm him.
Are you sure?
I have the tattoo to prove it. I'm him.
Oh! Is the feed?
Our light is going out.
It is time.
Mercy, what did you do?
It is time. I'm gone.
All right. Shenanigans are
What the fuck is going on?
all right.
That was 3.
All right. Before this goes any further off the rails, this was the year that was 2019.
Yes.
In the Scholars of Wrestling show and the world of wrestling. Which was your best and worst of the year? We want to hear from you all across the internet. Leave us comments wherever you are, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter machines. Let us know all across the internet.
You look like one of the original Wild Samoans right now.
And that's not a bad thing.
That's a
good thing. Yes. Join the conversation on Twitter. Follow us all across the Twitter machines, starting with @ScholarsOW for all the episode uploads every single week. And, of course, you can also join the conversation on our personal Twitter accounts. Fool, where can they reach you?
You can reach me at the Avatar.
Good dear. Champ, Brian Two Belts, where can he reach you?
I'm officially scared at Atomic Beanpole.
I'm officially scared is part of it?
No, at Atomic Beanpole.
Oh, okay. At Charlene.
Charlene?
Yes.
Okay.
You should be scared.
And I am here on Twitter playing with puppets, apparently, because I'm a grown-ass man, at I'm Robbie Rage. Join the conversations. Join on the fun, puppets and all, because we are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome. Well, here's to another year of great wrestling action and great predictions. See you all in 2020.
No, he's Eugene.